Hello everybody. This is going to be my third review of today, so if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same shirt, it's because I know I've said this in videos before, but it's because I'm literally doing all three reviews in one day, although these reviews won't be coming out nearly at the same time, so I guess that isn't really even an important part for me to say that, because yeah, I could have been wearing this shirt on 7 different days and you wouldn't have even known, but now you know. I recorded 3 different reviews on the same day. So this movie, I just kind of came across it. I thought it was actually a documentary. Turns out it's not. I guess I should have looked into it a little bit more before I watched it, but I guess some movies, it's nice to have a surprise. So I know this movie is actually based on a true story. If you know who Ed Gein is, he was literally the butcher of Plainfield. And if you've ever seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, you would know that that movie is definitely the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre character and the family. Now, I know there's different adaptations of this story, so I'm not exactly sure when the murders actually happened, but this was in, I believe, 1957 was the year that they put up at the beginning of the movie. And Ed Gein in this movie is played by Kane Hodder, who has been in, oh God, who knows how many different characters has he played. And he was born in 1955, so that would make him 60. He'd be in his 60s. I don't know the exact age there, but he's been in quite a bit. He's played Victor Crowley in Hatchet. What other ones has he? Oh, he played Jason. Wait, there's a... Hold on. Huh. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic film. Well, I'm going to have to look that one up now. I believe he did actually play Jason in one of the... Oh, I guess he did the Friday the 13th video game. He did the mechanic. He must have been the... That's awesome. What else has he done? He's done obviously quite a few horror movies, but I'm trying to find some of the more notable ones. He was in all 3 Hatchet movies, I do believe, and I believe he actually did play Jason Voorhees in one of them, in one of the Friday the 13th movies. I'm just trying to find it. He was in Monster 2, and that had Charlize Theron in it as well. So that was a more notable one. He was in Daredevil, the old Daredevil movie from 2003. Yeah, he played Jason Voorhees and Jason X. I swear to God he was in another one, though. He had to have been. Oh, yeah, he played Jason Voorhees in Jason Goes to Hell. Did he play Jason in any of the other ones? Which one is this one? Oh yeah, he played Jason in Jason Takes Manhattan. So he was actually Jason for quite a few of the movies. Oh wow, he also played Jason in Friday the 13th, The New Blood. Was he Jason in any of the other ones? Let's go back, because we don't know. He very easily could have been. Oh, I guess not. Yep. He didn't start acting till 1974, so I guess he wasn't in any of the other Jason movies. Okay, but he has had a very illustrious career as one of the horror movie and slasher film kings, I would say, that's for sure. He's probably one of the more better known ones, and I believe Michael Berryman, who played Jack, his only friend in the movie, who was born in 1948. Also was Jason Voorhees in one of the movies as well. Now I don't know for sure. I'm just going to do a little quick look to see if he actually was. We're going to have to go way back. Oh, no. Producer, actor. He was in The Hills Have Eyes, the original The Hills Have Eyes. I guess not. I thought he was for some reason, but I'm not seeing it here if he was. No, I don't think he was. For some reason I thought he was. He was in the X-Files. That's a very notable one for him. So I guess he's more known for The Hills Have Eyes, I would say. And I don't really see anything else here that I've seen that he's been in, other than The Lords of Salem, which was a Rob Zombie film. What else? What else has he been in that is of note? Oh, I guess he was in Z Nation, but I haven't seen the entirety of that show, so I don't know what part he's even in. Well, I guess he was in The Devil's Rejects too, as well. So yeah, he's had a not quite as big of a career as Kane Hodder, I would say, but he still had quite the illustrious career in the horror genre. So it was interesting to see those two working together, for sure. So this one kind of shows, I would say, more of the mental breakdown of Ed Gein. I guess this was supposed to be like a standalone story, right, rather than like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre route. So it kind of shows what he thought. He thought what he was doing wasn't illegal. Obviously, stealing bodies, like fresh dead bodies, and butchering them is clearly illegal because grave robbing is a crime. And he always tried to sell it off as he was just borrowing the bodies, but eventually he gets to the point where he actually does end up killing people. And the sheriff, who was played by Timothy Omen, is trying to figure out why all these people are going missing, and Bobby Mason, who was played by Sean Hoffman, wants to just get out there and search for these people. And the sheriff tells him to wait until they find out more information. But as time goes on, obviously more people go missing. So eventually it gets to the point where, where Bobby is, county over from where they were in Plainfield. And Plainfield is in Wisconsin, if you didn't know. I didn't know until I saw the cop car. So Tommy's mother, or jeez, I'm still thinking about Snake Eyes. So Bobby's mother was played by Priscilla Barnes, and her name was Vera Mason. So first it was one man's wife who goes missing. She was the owner of the bar, and then I think it was like 3 or 4 women that went missing within like a span of a couple days. And then obviously Bobby's mother goes missing when he's a county over, so he's driving back to come and save her with his girlfriend Erica, who he's planning on marrying, who was played by Adrina France, I want to say is how you pronounce her name. So yeah, they end up crashing the car, and Ed Gein finds her on the side of the road and takes her back to his, I guess I want to say like human butcher shop, basically, because it shows at the beginning of the movie whoever he has in his, I almost want to say it's like a laboratory for him. It's in a barn, so he's clearly thinking that what he's doing, and I know he did a lot of horrible things to people who were I'm not sure what he used on some of them, like a tranquilizer or something, so they couldn't move, but they could still feel everything he was doing. So if you're squeamish, I would say this would be one of the ones I would say not to watch, because they do show some stuff that's just like makes you want to go bleh, because it really shows how sick this man actually was. Um, so, because even some of the scenes made me kind of, cringe and tense up a little bit, because it was just like, wow, did he really go that far, or were they just doing this for a little bit of shock value? I mean, obviously, probably some of it was for shock value, just for the movie, to make you kind of go, ew, like, oh, that's gross, like, why would they have shown that? Because I was, even in some scenes, I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't show it, just because I was like, do I really need to see that? But anyway, I am glad though that they kind of showed him wearing like the, I guess like the skin getup that he made in the movie. They did show that, like him wearing the other person's face as like a mask, which I'm surprised he actually. I thought for sure they were going to kind of make him into like the Chainsaw Massacre character at the end. I kind of thought that's the route they were going, but it turns out they were taking a different route, and they were just making him just Ed Gein, I guess, as the psychopath who made a skin suit, which doesn't really, yeah, it's just kind of weird. I don't know where your mind would have to be in order to do that kind of thing, but yeah, I guess he wasn't completely all there, right? And he clearly suffered from some sort of child abuse, because every time he's around a woman alone, he pictures his mother. And so I'm assuming he didn't have a very good childhood life, and that doesn't give anybody an excuse to do crimes, but I think he was probably abused as a child, and so who knows what kind of abuse his parents might have put him through. I'm just guessing at this, but I'm assuming that's probably part of it. And I guess he was somewhat cannibalistic. Now, it never really showed any of that in the movie. It just showed him kind of making the suits and masks and stuff throughout the movie, so I'm not really sure whether that was just part of the shock value of the movie or not. Just to add that into the story that he was cannibalistic, I'm not really sure whether he was or not. I don't know that much about him. I'd have to actually look into that to see if there's any reports on cannibalism with Ed Gein, but I would actually say this movie deserves an 8 out of 10, and the only reason I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 is because the storyline and the actual movie itself was good. The acting was actually not that bad. I thought it was going to be more of a B-rated movie, but it seems that they put a lot of actually time and thought into this. The only thing I will say is some of the camera angles were just odd, like the constant like low shot looking up at the characters. A lot of it didn't make any sense. They could have just had it like a bird's eye view, or just like a straight shot would have probably made a little bit more sense, because just for the seriousness of it, it kind of seemed a little bit goofy in some scenes when they're talking, and the audio was sometimes off. So it was hard to hear some of what Bobby was saying, because he was really soft-spoken throughout most of the film, and the rest of them seemed to talk at a, higher tone, or higher octave, I guess, than him. So sometimes he was hard to hear. But it was actually surprising to me that Ed Gein didn't kill Erica. Now, I don't know whether they just added that into the story as well, or whether the sheriff's daughter was actually killed by him or not. But he decides to take her off the side of the road, and then put splints on her leg and actually help her. And he thinks that he's going to, I guess, save her. And he's telling her on the way through the forest that she's too pretty to be part of his experiments. So I guess he was using older women who he guess, I guess didn't think had much time left or whatever. I'm not really sure what his thought process was there, but he didn't want to kill younger women, I guess, because he thought they had some sort of life left to live, was his mentality, which I guess when you're crazy, you come up with your own excuses as to who you're going to kill and who you're not, right? Like, he kind of thought he was playing God in a way by killing the older women, and I guess, and yeah, I guess that's how he thought about it. So at the end of it, they actually added in a little blurb of what happened to him after he was caught, because Bobby almost shoots him, and I think the other cops probably would have let him, and then they just would have said that Ed Gein tried to attack them, right, or made up something, because back in the 50s it would have been much easier to make up a story about what happened and why you would have needed to kill him in self-defense, as opposed to in comparison to today, where you have like the cops with the cameras on them constantly so that you know who fired first and why they would have fired back and in what situations weapons weren't necessary and so on and so forth, right? But yeah, obviously in 1957 it would have been really easy to make an excuse, and obviously if Ed Gein had have died, he wouldn't have been able to say anything because he was already on his own. He'd lost his mother, his father, and his brother, I believe he said. So he was definitely upset about losing his family and being on his own, because he said he lost them for absolutely no good reason. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but I wish they maybe had touched on that a little bit more to kind of figure out why he was the way he was, but they didn't. So but anyhow, yeah, so they put up this little blurb at the end of the movie saying that I believe he was charged with 10 murders but only convicted of 2. So I believe the court, what it said is that the court deemed him unfit for prison life due to his mental capacity, something along those lines. So he spent his entire life in mental institutions. He never committed any more harm to any people after what he did in Plainfield, which I find very odd, because you would think that if you didn't have the mental capacity to know what you were doing, you would just keep harming people regardless. Or maybe he only wanted to kill women, and I guess maybe if he was in a mental institution, and who knows what they did to him back then, right? Because they could get away with a lot more, so they might have used like shock therapy on him and just completely fried him, like, and just turned him into a basic vegetable, probably is what they did, but who knows. This is all just speculation. This is just me guessing on what could have happened. So then I guess in 1984 he ended up getting cancer and died in his cell. That's what they said. I guess they still call the mental institution rooms cells, because I guess technically you're still living out your life in some sort of prison, right? Even if it's not actually prison. Yeah, but still probably feel like prison back in those days. So yeah, he ended up just passing away, because obviously he was convicted of life in prison with no parole, I do believe is what they said. I'm not really sure how many life sentences they gave him, but he was old enough where he definitely would have died in jail or a mental institution anyway of old age before he ever got out, so due to the crimes that he was charged and convicted of. So yeah, and then that was the end of the movie. And I gave it an 8 out of 10 already. That was my rating, and I think that's all I can say about this movie. So as always, like, share, subscribe, comment down below if you have seen this. And if you're not a squeamish person, I would say go watch this one, because it does kind of tie in. It's kind of like an origin story almost for Ed Gein, and I think it makes the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies a little bit more easy to understand, maybe, as to what the direction was when they were filming those as well. So I would say definitely go watch those. This one and all of the other ones, if you're not a very squeamish person, you can handle blood and gore and stuff like that. And you're a fan of the horror slasher genre. Seems to be a tongue twister to say. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.